Shukutem is a business intelligence developer and Microsoft certified trainer with over 8 years of experience empowering professionals and organizations through data analytics and Microsoft technologies. His expertise spans Power BI, Excel, Power Apps, Power Automate, SharePoint Online, and Office 365 applications, with a proven track record of training over 7,000 participants across industries. He has HND in banking and finance, and he combines analytical skills with technical proficiency to deliver practical result-driven solutions. His certification includes MCT, MCSC, Microsoft Office Specialist in Excel, Microsoft Certified Educator. He collaborated with leading organizations such as Jira Computer Solutions, Enterprises, Track IT Limited, and Human Capital Partners, driving digital transformation and building capacity through tailored training and consulting. He is very passionate about knowledge transfer and business intelligence. He thrives on helping individuals and teams to unlock their full potential on Microsoft tools to make smarter, data-driven decisions. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me yield the floor to Mr. Osai Shukutem to talk to us on data analysis, Power BI, and advanced Excel. So, Mr. Shukutem, I yield the floor to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction. So I welcome everyone to today's section. The last time we looked basically at Excel and AI features in Excel. So today we'll be looking at business intelligence with Microsoft Excel and Power BI. Today we'll be bridging the gap between counting values and creating it by combining the calculation engine of Microsoft Excel with the visualization strength of Power BI. We will transition from static reporting into automated business intelligence. So let's turn raw financial data into an immediate executive asset. Now, as a modern accountant, there is a paradigm shift that is moving from manual data gathering to strategic partnership. First, you must automate the process. Instead of doing a task repetitively, okay, you should be able to automate a process. And you being able to automate the process, then it will be easy for you to transform your trial balance, your financial statements, any financial records into interactive and executive dashboards. So that's what we want to achieve this morning. I won't be doing much talking. We'll be doing more of practicals than the talking. But let me just quickly talk a little bit about self-service BI, SSBI. Self-service BI is an approach to analytics that empowers someone who is non-technical business professionals like accountants, managers. It helps them to access clean, model, and visualize data independently. So by using tools like Power BI and Excel, as an accountant, you will be able to generate real-time insights and reports without relying on IT departments or database administrators. So, meaning that you'll be moving from data like this, raw data like this, to insights in Power BI, in Excel. Just by clicking, you'll be able to unlock insights. Just by clicking, you will be able to unlock insights from your raw financial report into an interactive dashboard like this in Excel. Or you move on to, or you use Power BI in order to create the same data set from this data set, from this raw data set, to in an interactive dashboard like what you are seeing on the screen. So I would like to take a little poll. We are having Microsoft Excel and Power BI as a tool, and of which these two tools are versatile. I want to also I want to also let you know, I want to also announce to you that Power BI was born from the womb of Microsoft Excel. Long before now, Microsoft Excel has been a useful tool in terms of spreadsheets. Then in 2011, the story changes. Microsoft now look at it that, okay, instead of accountants to wait for IT experts to create or to unlock insights from their financial data, why don't we embed into Microsoft Excel some features that will enable accountants in order to carry out what we call business intelligence? Then some features were embedded into Microsoft Excel. And what are those features? We have features like the Power Query. We have features like the Power Query that helps you to extract data, transform the data, and then get the data and then load the data into the model. Of course, another feature was added, which is also the Power Pivot, which helps you to model and crunch your data. And then we have the Power View for visualization. We have Power Map also for visualization. So these are the features. These 4 features were embedded into Microsoft Excel in order for an accountant to carry out what we call business intelligence. However, Microsoft discovered that even when this application is embedded into Microsoft Excel, so many accountants do not know that these features are existing in Microsoft Excel. Because in earlier versions like the 2011, from 2013 version of Microsoft Excel, 2016 version of Microsoft Excel, you will need to activate this. You will need to activate this set of features. That is why so many people don't know. So many accountants do not know that these features exist in Microsoft Excel. Now, what did Microsoft now do? What they did was that to extract these features and make them a standalone program called Power BI. And that is why we say that Microsoft Power BI was born from the womb of Microsoft Excel. And since 2015, that Microsoft Power BI has been launched, up to date, it has gotten updates every single month from 2015 to date. So what it means that if you have a version of Power BI like 1 month ago, it means that there are new features that would have been added. after a month. So this tells you how powerful that application is. This application can move your raw data into executive dashboards, whereby you can unlock insights. Even apart from you that creates the report, you create a report that will be independent of you in such a way that somebody else will be able to pick up that report and unlock other insights different from the insights that you have unlocked from that data set. Now, we are going to look at how to use one of these tools, because if we say we should use two of them, then it means that time will be against us. So I want us to quickly run a poll and let's see which of these applications should we use in our demonstration this morning. We have Microsoft Excel and we have Power BI. So let me see on the chat section. Let me see your comments. If you want us to use Excel in order to turn Power BI, in order to turn raw data to insights. So let me see your response. Okay. Okay. All right. So there are a lot of we have balanced requests. We have Excel and we have Power BI. Wow, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. So I can see a lot of people commenting about commenting Power BI, some and also commenting Excel. So I think I will go with one of the requests. Somebody said we should use both. Yes, let us see if we can actually achieve this using both. So I will start first with Microsoft Excel. Are we ready? If you are ready, just type say, yes, we are ready. So we are going first with Excel. Are we ready? Great. So let us start. So let us start. So what we want to achieve is to build a dashboard like this within the next 30 minutes. Let us see how we can turn this raw data. We want to see how we can turn this raw data into an executive dashboard like this. Now, let us first of all get familiar with the data set. Now, this data set is having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. And this data set is all about expenses. Okay, it's all about expenses. How the organization has been the expenses transaction within the organization. So the first column has to do with the date. The second column has to do with the transaction ID. Okay, so the transaction ID in this case will be the unique identifier. It means that there is no, meaning that every single transaction here is unique. And that is why we have the transaction ID to ensure that we have unique. And we are going to confirm that with Power Query though. Then we have the description column. The description column describes the kind of transaction that we have. And then we have the category where that transaction falls in. Okay. And then we have the payment method by which that transaction took place. We have transfer, cash, card, POS, and the likes. And then, of course, we have the amount of each transaction. Then we have the branch of each, the branch where that transaction actually takes place. So let's turn this raw data into let's turn this raw data into a dashboard. So first, I want to show you, let me open a new Microsoft Excel worksheet, workbook. Now, let me first of all show you how to locate each of these features. Before I forget, one of these features in Microsoft Excel has been retired in the latest versions of Microsoft Excel, and that is the Power View. Remember, I made mention of 4 features. I made mention of Power Query, which is the data transformation tool, okay? The ETL tool, extract, transform, and load. We have the Power Pivots, okay, which helps you to crunch your data, build your model, create measures, and do every other activities. Then we have the Power View, which you use for visualization. So Power View has been retired. Then we have Power Map, which is used for geographical data. Okay, so these are the features. So meaning that I'll be showing you how to activate these 3 features in Microsoft Excel. How do you locate it? First, you come to your File tab. You come to your File. Under File, if you go down, you will see Account, or you will see Options. Click on the Options. Now, when you click on the Options, you are going to see, it's going to open up a dialog box for you. Within this dialog box, you will click on Add-ins under the Options. When you click on Add-ins, it will show you this dialog box. Below the dialog box, you will see Manage. Under the Manage, at the front of it, you will see Excel Add-ins. Do a drop down, click on the drop down, and then select Come Add-ins. Now, when you select Come Add-ins, then you click on Go. The moment you click on Go, it will show you this dialog box. And what does this dialog box do? The dialog box, you will see Power Map for Excel and Power Pivot. Ensure you tick both of them. When you tick both of them, if you click on OK, one of your tab will show Power Pivot. One of your tab, automatically, Power Pivot will show up. Now, how do you identify your Power Map and Power Query? By default, Power Query has been activated because it is used for data importation and data cleaning. So it has been activated automatically in latest versions, like the version I'm using currently. So if I go to my data tab, under the data tab, okay, you will see get and transform data as the first set of groups here. So get data, meaning that you can get data from any of these sources. Can you see it? So that is your Power Query. That is how you get your data. Okay, so we have identified where Power Query is and where Power Pivot is. However, in case you don't see the Power Pivot, tab, come to your data tools. Under your data tab, come to your data tools group. Under the data tools group, you will see this green guy here. It is called the data model. Do a drop down on the data model, and then you will see your data model here is your Power Pivot. Okay, manage data model is your Power Pivot, and then 3D map is your what? Is your Power Map. So these are the BI features. This is how to identify the BI features in Excel. Now, let us now get our data. So to get the data, you have to use an ETL tool. So what is the meaning of ETL? ETL simply means extract, transform, and load. So meaning that you will first of all know the location where your file or where the data or where the table you want to analyze is located. You first of all know the location. So for me, My own location is on my downloads. My own location is on my downloads. Don't worry, I will make the link for where for my files, for the files I'll be using, the link for the files. So I'm making it available. So ensure you get the. So let me see if I can send to everyone. So let me send to everyone. So that is the link where you can get this particular file that I'm using for this demonstration. For this demonstration, I'm sure that this this section is being recorded and it is live on YouTube. So if you go to the YouTube, you are going to see this recording there. So now let us get this. Let us extract this data. How do we extract it? First, I go to get data under my data data tab, get and transform data group. So I will go to get data. Under get data, I will just come here and say get data preview. Get data. So once I click on get data, it will open this. It will open this source for me. You will quite agree with me that Microsoft Excel can connect to so many data sources, and these data sources ranges from flat files to databases to ERPs. So if your data is sitting on an ERP, you can use Microsoft Excel. All you just need to do is to come here and search for that particular ERP, and you'll be able to connect to that data, to that data source, and then grab the data out and extract the data from any ERPs, databases, or flat files. But for the benefit of this class or for this section, the data type that we are using is test. It is a test or CSV data type. So I will click on test or CSV. Now, that leads us to the location. So this is the file that I am using. So I'm selecting the file and then say import. So I'm importing this file. Now, what Microsoft what Power Query will do is to connect to the table, is to connect to this data source and then grab the data. Can you see the data right here? So the data is here, and then we won't load, we'll be transforming. So let us see if there are transformations that we need to do on this data set. So I will click on transform data. Good. So you can see we are here on the Power Query editor. So the Power Query editor helps you to transform your data. So that is where you clean your data. If there are any data issues with your data sets, okay? If there are any data quality issues with your data set, you'll be able to use Power Query in order to deal with the data issues. You can decide to split a column. You can decide to merge a column. You can create a new column. There are a lot of transformation that you can do. And I can assure you that there are column transformations and there are row level transformations. So any of these, you can actually leverage on it in order to get it done. All you need to do is to search for it. Take your time to search for each of those transformation right here. And if you go to transform tab, under transform tab, you will also be able to see other transformation. So I don't this data we are using is a bit clean. So we'll be doing less cleaning here. So there is not much cleaning that we are doing right here. So I just want to bring you to the Power Query editor so that you can see that there's possibility for you to do your transformation, and also ensure that each of the column is having the exact data type that you have. Now look at this column. This column is date column, and since it is a date column, ensure that it's having, can you see this button on the left side of your header? If you click on it, it will bring out all the data types that we have. We have decimal number, currency, whole number, percentage, a whole lot of them are here for you to transform with. So for the date column, you will use the date data type. For transaction ID like this, you use your test. Okay, can you see? This is called the test data type. There are a lot of them. So if you scroll to the right, now look at the amount. Can you see that the amount is having what? Is having data type for, numbers. Okay, for whole number. So these are the different data types that you can use in Microsoft in Power Query. Now, since we don't have much transformation to do here, once you are done, you come to your home tab, then you say close and load. So once you close and load, this your data set will be it will close Power Query Editor and load your transformation into your Microsoft Excel. So with this, you can now begin to build your report. Now, to build your report, since Power View has been retired, so you can now use your pivot table and your pivot chart in order to create your report, in order to create your visualization. First, we will first of all bring out each of the KPIs that we want to track right here. And what are those KPIs that we want to track? Number one, we will track the total expenses, the total amount based on expenses. We will track the average total expenses. We will track the average total expenses. We will also track the total number of transactions that we have on this data set. Okay? We will also track the highest amount in this transaction, the highest expenses that happened within this transaction. And we also track the lowest amount that were the lowest amount of transaction that happened within this transaction. So let's go. How do we do that? It is straightforward. For you to create a pivot table, click anywhere within this table that you have imported. Click within this table that you have imported. So you come to your Insert tab. Under the Insert tab, go to the first option there is Pivot Table. Do a drop down and say Pivot Table from range, table or range. Click on it. It will open this beautiful dialog box for you. On this dialog box, we want to create our report in a new worksheet. So we will click New Worksheet. Now, when you click on New Worksheet, then you say, OK. It will open up your pivot table in a new worksheet for you. Now, this pivot table, the KPIs we want to track, like I mentioned, first we want to track the total amount. So all I need to select the amount. Can you see? This is the total amount that we have. I don't need to come back and say insert pivot table again. All I just need is to copy this pivot table, Ctrl+C, and then Ctrl+V. Can you see that? All I need to do, the next transaction I want to track is the average transaction. Because I have this already, to track the highest transaction, I will come to my quadrant here. Look at this quadrant that I have here, where I have the filters, columns, rows, and values. Okay, under the pivot table fields. Okay, so I will come below where I have the values. I will do a drop down by the side of sum of amount. Can you see? When I do a drop down there, I will just come here and say value field settings. Under value fit settings, this is the value that was summarized by, which is the sum. So I'm going to use average for the next one. Can you see that? Then I click on OK. Now I've tracked 2 KPIs. I will come here again and then paste the same pivot table. I will come back to these same values and I want to track pivot value fit settings. I want to track the highest amount within this transaction and then say, okay. So the highest amount is 49,993. The average amount is 26,041. Can you see it? I will come here again and then paste another pivot table. Come back here and then do what? Value fit settings and then track the lowest amount. Can you see it? Click on it and then track the lowest amount. The lowest amount is 2,003. That is the lowest amount. Now, I want to know the total number of transactions that is within this data set. How do I track that? I will copy this again, come to this place, and then paste. You see that I only create one pivot table, and then all I do is to copy and paste, and then adjust the settings. So instead of me going back and forth to go and create a pivot table over and over again, once I create just one pivot table, I can use that one pivot table to create other pivot table by just copying and pasting. So that will make your work faster and seamless. So I will select this third one. Okay, what do I want to do there? I want to count the number of transactions. So this time around, I will take out this minimum of amount. I will take it out. So I've deleted it. Then I will drag the transaction ID and put it under values. Can you see? It has given me the total, it has counted the total number of transactions using the count, using the count. Can you see that? So meaning that our KPIs are ready. Our KPIs are ready. So the next thing I want to do after tracking KPIs is to build at least other 2 reports. So I'm copying this pivot table again and I'm pasting it here. Now, after pasting it here, I want to take out this count transaction ID. I'm taking it out and I want to bring in the amount. Okay. And so let me see by category what my report is. Can you see that? By category: food, fuel, internet, office supply, transport, and utilities. Can you see all this is amounting, all these categories are what amounted to this total. And if you look at this total, it's also equivalent to this total. Does that make sense? So now let us create a pivot chart out of this pivot table. Select this pivot table and then come to your insert tab. Under your insert tab, I want to use one of these charts, which is the clustered column chart, a very simple chart. So I'm using this clustered column chart. So let me do some editing. I want to remove this total. I don't want this, so that I will have enough space. Let me remove each of these. Let me remove these buttons so that I will have so that the chart will be able to contain the entire area. Can you see that? So let me add the data labels, and this is where it gets cool. Now, if I add this data label, I don't like the way this data label is displayed. So let me format this data label to So I'm formatting this data label. First, I will come here, convert this to currency. Can you see that? You see that when I convert it here on the pivot table, it's affecting the pivot chart. Can you see that? So that has been done. Now, the next thing I want to do, I don't like the way this pivot, I don't like the way this amount is showing. I want to convert it into something like this. Let's say, since we have 64 million here, so I should be having 64.8 M. So I want this. I want to abbreviate it like this on each of this category. How do I do that? So first, I will click. I will select the values. After selecting the values, look at your format data labels here under the format label pane. Can you see it? I will do a drop down here and then see numbers. Under these numbers, I will expand the number. After expanding the number, you will see format code. Can you see the format code? You will now edit this format code. Now, the format code is, so this is the format code. I will also paste it. So this will help you to abbreviate. This will help you to abbreviate to millions. So let me copy this and then share with you on the chat so that you can pick it up and utilize it. For billions, you can also manipulate this to get the one for billions. Okay, so let us see how this is done. Let us see how this will affect. So all I just need to do here is to say add. Add this. Can you see? Immediately I add it. Can you see that this is more professional than the first one that we have, whereby you have the entire numbers. Okay, so I'm okay with this the way it is. Now, let us format the heading. Let us call this heading category. That is the name of this heading, category. Let me make it bold and increase the size a little. Okay, so this is our first chart that we have created. Our first pivot chart that we have created. Now let us create another pivot chart. Okay, let's create another pivot chart. How do you create the pivot chart? Just the same process. Copy. I want to copy this and then paste somewhere here. So I've copied this pivot chart and this pivot table. Now for this pivot table, what do I want to see? What report do I want to see here? I want to see the total expenses by the payment method. Thank you. Payment method. So I will select this and then insert another pivot chart. So let me add a pivot chart. Come to insert. Under insert, I will come here and then I want to use this particular pivot chart. Okay, so that I'll be using the same pivot chart together. So here I will say payment method. Payment method. That is the title. So the same thing I did here, I will also add. I don't want this, and I also don't want these field buttons. So I'm removing the field, I'm hiding it. Then let me add the data labels. So let me add the data labels. I want the data label to be inside end. Okay. And I also want to use, let me format it. Let me format it to white so that it can be visible within the chart. Can you see that? So the next thing I want to do is to also format this. I want to change it from what it is now I want to format it to, I want to format the number. So I will also paste this format and then say add. Can you see that? And I have 97.2 million. Can you see? Each of them is having, everything is there. So let me also arrange this within my dashboard. Now remember, the concept of a dashboard is that it must be on a single page. It mustn't be something you must be scrolling up and down. So you will see that by the time I'm done with this dashboard, it will only show on a single page. So I don't need to scroll up, I don't need to scroll down within a dashboard. So if you say you are creating a dashboard, ensure that every KPI you are tracking is within the dashboard and you don't need to scroll. Just imagine it to be your dashboard on your vehicle, whereby you want to check your fuel gauge. You want to check your fuel gauge, then you begin to scroll. You know that can cause an accident. So the same thing to your dashboard report. It shouldn't be, it should be a single page, whereby every indicator will appear. So once I'm done with this report, you will see that everything will appear in a single page. Can you see that? So this is the second, this is another report that I have created. Now let us format all this. Let's format all this so that it's going to show us currency. Let it show us currency. So the currencies are there. So let's use this as total expenses. So I want to format this as total expenses. Total expenses. Total expenses. Why this is average expenses. Average expenses. Okay. And this is highest amount, or our highest expenses. Highest expenses. Highest expenses. And then the next one will be lowest expense. Lowest expense. Lowest expense. So let me convert this to highest expense. And then this is the lowest expense. And then this will now be the total transaction, total number of transactions. Let us use total number of transaction so that it will be transactions. So we now have all these KPIs. So let us centralize this. Good. Can you see that? So I'm formatting my visuals now. I'm formatting my visuals. So let me come here and add the borders. Let me add tick border. Then use this to format this. Use this. Use the format painter to format. Use the format painter to format. Use the format painter to format. Can you see that? So this is not money. This is not currency. This is whole number. So we don't want decimal place here. So can you see that? So we have this. Now, the next report we want to bring up here, let me adjust this a little so that that report can appear below. The next report we want to bring up here is to view the trend. We want to view the trend, okay, over time, because our data is having time. If you look at it, our data set
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think the resource person is having some network challenge. We'll be back very, very soon. Thank you. Okay, the resource person is back. Mr. Osfas, please unmute.
All right, so let me share my screen, please. Sorry about that. So please confirm that you can see my screen now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So thank you very much for that. Now, so we are here trying to format our reports. We are here trying to format our reports. So let us quickly format this report and then we move on to Power BI. So what other thing do we want to do here? I said we want to add one more report, and which is we want to track trend. And the trend we want to track will be, so let us copy also. So you don't need to go and create a pivot table again, since you already have one here. So let me paste this here. Copy and paste. Good. So let me reposition this pivot table here. And then let me use this pivot table to create. Let me use this pivot table. So I will uncheck the method and then check dates. Now, when I check dates, so I have these dates. So I will remove the months and I will remove the days. So I'll be left with only the dates. So once I have this, I will now convert this into a line chart, because line chart will enable you to view trend easily. Can you see it? Line chart will enable you to view trend. So I'm formatting this. Let me hide these buttons and then rename this as trend analysis. Trend analysis. Trend analysis. So for this trend analysis, I may come here and then add the trend line so that I can view the trend. Can you see it? So that I can know what the trend is actually saying. So I've added a linear trend line. So let me adjust this and put it below. Let me adjust this and put it below for the trend analysis. Can you see that? So I now have my trend analysis. So to make this dashboard interactive, let me add a slide. Let me add 1 or 2 slicers. Let me insert and then add slicer. Can you see it? Slicer. Which of the slicer do I want to add? I want to bring in 2 slicers, which is branch and month. Branch and month. Then I say okay. Can you see that? I've brought in 2 slicers. I don't like the way this slicer is showing data that are empty. These are empty here. These ones that are like this are empty. So I will come to the format. I will come to the slicer format and then come to the slicer settings. Under the slicer settings, I will just come here and say hide items with no data and then say okay. Can you see that? So items with no data will be hidden. So I don't need it. It's disturbing my work. So let us have it this way, which also makes a very good sense. So I have this month, date, and then I also have the one for branch, whereby I can use it to explore my report and then unlock insights from it. So let me reduce this and good. Can you see that my dashboard is ready? Now, how do I now make it interactive? So if I select this, can you see that this particular slicer is only slicing only this report? Can you see it? It's slicing only this report. If I want this slicer to slice through all the report, what do? I will click on the slicer and then I will come to slicer settings. Under the slicer settings, I will click on report connections. When I click on report connections, then can you see that it is only connected to only one pivot table? Can you see it? So I will now connect it to other pivot tables by selecting this. Connect it to other pivot tables so that it will be able to slice through the entire report. Now watch what will happen. If I want to see what happened in January, can you see? This is what happened in January. Even the KPI also is responding. The KPI also is responding. Meaning that in January alone, we have 2,581 transactions, which amounted to 67 million. 67 million. And the average expenses for that month is 25 million. Can you see now that I am beginning to unlock insight within this data set, within this report? Then, if I go to February, the same thing, it will slice through the entire report. So I will do the same thing to the branch. So I will select the branch, come to slicer, come to report connection, and then connect this slicer to every single report. Connect this slicer to every single report. Can you see that? Connect it to every single report so that every report will be responding. So if I want to see what happened, the transactions that happened in Abuja branch, if I click on Abuja, every single report here on this dashboard is telling me what is giving me an insight of what happened in Abuja. So that is the power of the slicer. So the slicer will enable your report to be interactive. Now let us add an heading to wrap up the Excel part. So I will come to insert. Under insert, I will select test and then add my test. So what will be the name of this dashboard? The name of this dashboard is let's call this expenditure or expenses report 2026 expenses report dashboard. Okay, let's call it dashboard report. Dashboard report 2026. Can you see that? Then you can even make it bold. Then this is where your designing skills come in. This is where your designing skills come in. So you can use any of this in order to design it. Use any of them. Use any of them to design it. Can you see that? Drag this to this edge and also drag this to this edge. Can you see? Our dashboard report is ready to fly. And I can tell you, you can unlock a lot of insight just from this simple dashboard that you are seeing. A lot of decision can be taken from this report. Any question before I dive in straight into Power BI? We want to also build this same report that we have used Microsoft Excel to build. We also want to use Power BI to build the same report. Any question before we move further? Just within the next 5 minutes, if you have any question based on what I've done here, please feel free to ask your question. Okay. Let's see. All right, somebody is asking, how can we print this out? You don't need to print it out. That particular, there is that link I shared earlier on. I'm going to share the link again. That link I shared earlier on. You have everything. You have the data set. You have the dashboard that has been built for Microsoft Excel, and you have the dashboard that has been built for Power BI using that particular data set. So you don't need to print out. You have the file already within your graphs. So just make sure you download it and then you interact with it. Yes, somebody is asking, how can we navigate to get data directly from ERP? So I don't know the name. I don't know the name of the ERP that you are using, but I can tell you for free, if you come to the same process, come to data, under the data, come to get data. When you come to get data, click on this get data preview. Once you click on it, search for the name of that ERP. If it is 0 you are using, search for 0 here. If you don't see it, no problem. You can Power BI has more data source. You can connect to more data source than sources in Power BI than your than Microsoft Excel. So these are some ERPs that you can work with. So you can also work with a SharePoint list. A lot of them. You can get data from the web. You can get from anywhere, web API, old data, a lot of them. And we also have blank query. which you can also get your data from. Okay, somebody is asking, how did you reduce the figures to 6.7 million? Good. So to reduce the figures to 6.7 million, I will be pasting what you need. So this is it, which is hash, comma, hash, 0.0, comma, and then M in a quotation sign. So I'm sharing it again to everyone. So I will share it multiple times so that you can see how to reduce it. Yes. Somebody is asking, must the ERP be cloud-based or premise-based? It can be any one of them, either cloud-based or premise-based, provided you have the connecting string. Okay? Provided you have the connecting string. The connecting string is what enables you to be able to connect to an ERP. The connecting string is talking of the connecting string, you are talking about the username and password to the username and password to that ERP. That is what you need. All right. Will the remover of the information at the background of the dashboard affect the dashboard? Yes, it will. Now, let me quickly run a demo for you based on that. If the location changes, so let me show you how it works. Now, look at, I've created this dashboard. Now, look at this total. The total is 390 million. Can you see it? 390.6 million. Now, I want to go to the background data. I want to go to the source of the data and add more data to it. If I add more data to it, meaning that the number of transactions will increase, the number of total expenses will increase, these figures will be affected, and also likewise the dashboard. So let me go to the background data and add to that data set. Now, this is the background data. Can you see the background data? If I scroll down and then add another, let me just come here and add another one. But this time around, let me inflate this amount to 200,000. Okay? Let me inflate this amount to 200,000. All right? And then let me now add an additional, what did they call it? So let's see. Now let us add, let me change this from Port Harcourt. Let me add another, what did they call it? Another branch. Let me add another branch and call this branch, let me call this branch. Which branch will I call this now? Somebody should give me a suggestion for branch. Ogba, okay? Let us add Ogba branch. So let us put here Ogba. Can you see it? Additional data set, okay? And this amount is 200,000. Now, watch what will happen. I'm saving this. Watch what will happen to the, can you see that it has not come up here. This has not reflect. But the moment I come to my data tab, and then I click on refresh. Once I click on refresh, let's see, this has not come up. Let us refresh again. Refresh all again. And let's see. Can you see that Ogba has been added? Can you see that? Ogba has been added without redesigning this dashboard again. All it's just doing is to feed on that data set. As you are adding to the data set, as the ERP is updating, your dashboard in Excel is coming to life. Can you see now that we now have 15,001 transactions. Yes, Olaleko, your hand is up. Wow, so many people hand is up. Wow. Okay. Okay, so let me go with Olaleko. Olaleko, let me hear from you. Okay. Anybody raising up his hand? If I can hear from you, no problem. Okay, somebody is asking. Monday is asking, how did you add Power Pivot? To add Power Pivot is very simple. Step 1, go to File. Okay, that's step 1. Go to File. Step 2, come to Options. Under Options, step 3, click on Add-ins. It will show you this dialog box. Step 4, click on, come below where you see Manage. Change it from Excel add-ins to Com add-ins. Step 5, click on Go. Step 6, tick each of these. You will see Power Pivot for Excel, Power Map for Excel. Make sure you tick both of them, and then you click on OK. Your Power Pivot will be activated. So that is how you work with your Power Pivots. Okay, let me resend the data file for this dashboard. So somebody is asking for it. So let me send it. Okay. Thank you very much. Somebody has sent it on my behalf. Ikechuku, thank you very much. Ikechuku. How did you combine the pivots? To combine the pivot, I combine it using the what do they call it? The slicer to combine the entire pivot. So what I did was I select the slicer. After adding the slicer, there will be a consolidated tab here called slicer. Can you see the slicer here? Then you come to report connections. So when you click on report connections, all you need to do is to tick every single pivot table that is here. So if I don't want this pivot table, this slicer to control the trend analysis, all I need to do is to uncheck it and then say okay. If I select this now, you will see that it's not affecting the trend analysis anymore. If I want it to affect the trend analysis, I will go back to the report connection and then tick the trend analysis pivot table and then say okay. So once I click on this, it will affect every single chart within the report. So let us move on to Power BI. Are we ready? If you are ready, type on the screen, type on the chat that we are ready for Power BI. Are we ready for Power BI? Yes, we are ready. Okay, so let us see how we can do this same thing. Let's see how we can do this same thing in Power BI. So since you are ready, I am also ready. So let us get it done. Yes, let's get it done. So because of time, I was unable to add these two charts. Maybe some other time we will talk about adding how to add this type of chart whereby you'll be able to track KPI using some of these charts like this. So let us move on. Don't worry, you have this particular dashboard in that folder. You have this particular dashboard in that folder. So go there, pick on it, and then look at how you can revise what we have done here. So let us move on to Power BI. So since we are ready, I am ready. So let me open up Power BI. So this is the dashboard we want to achieve. So within the next 20 to 30 minutes, we want to see how we can build this dashboard. We want to see how we can build this dashboard exactly like this in Power BI. So let us move. Let me open a new Power BI. I'm opening a new Power BI. I'm opening a blank Power BI report. I'm opening a blank Power BI report. The same data, and we are going to achieve the same KPIs, the same report, everything. What we have there, we also get it here. So let's see how we can do that. Okay, so I will click on blank report. You know, I told you that Power BI was born in the womb of Microsoft Excel. So those things that we have done in Excel, the business intelligence that we're able to do in Excel, we want to do the same business intelligence here in Power BI. It is not called power for power's sake. So let us wait for it to load. Let's wait for the good. So this is your Power BI interface. This is your Power BI interface, and this is how it looks like. Now, if I want to know the version, if I want to know if I'm running the current version of Power BI, how do you know? Come to Help. Under Help, click on About. When you click on About, it's going to show you if you are running the current version. Which month are we? We are in the month of May. Which version am I running? I'm running the May 2026 version. So meaning that I'm running the latest updates. That's what it means. So if you want to install Power BI, it is free. Power BI is free. The only time the Power BI desktop is free. The only time you need to pay money when it comes to Power BI is when you want to collaborate with others. Is when you want to share your report with your colleague in the office. That is when you need to pay. You need the pro license or the premium per user license to use Power BI. As a matter of fact, Power BI consists of three major components, and these components are Power BI Desktop, Power BI Web Service, and Power BI Mobile. You can build your report and your models using Power BI Desktop. After doing that, you can now publish your report to the web service. From the web service, you can now view that report on your mobile device. So that is how powerful Power BI is. So you don't need to finish your report, and your boss is asking you that, where is the report? Mr. Wale, where is my report? All you need to do is to just send a link and tell your boss to go to that link and check the report. And the report will be there. And he will be able to interact with that report right there on his mobile device. So that will be another training section entirely. So let us see how we can deliver this dashboard within this short period of time. Now, first thing is to get your data. Can you see that our report is empty? It's telling us add data to your report. So if that report is in any ERP or anything, just come to get data. Under get data, you can see it. Can you see that? Get data. Under get data, you come to, if the file is an Excel file, you select Excel workbook. There are over 250 plus data sources that you can connect to and get your data from. Can you see it? All you need to do, search for the data source. That's all what you need to do here. Search for the data source. Now, let's say, for example, you have a data set, and that data set is inside a PDF file. And you begin to crack your brain. How can you analyze this file? How can you analyze this file? You don't have any problem. Just come to Power BI. Power BI has a solution. To get that data from Power BI, all you need to do, come to this place and then type PDF. And then you see the PDF data source. Can you see that? You see the PDF data source. Once you click here, connect to that PDF file, Power BI will grab or extract that table from the data source, from that PDF file, and then you'll be able to analyze it in Power BI. So but our data source is CSV. So let me select test or CSV. So I'm browsing to look for the location of that file. The same process. So this is the file, and then I will say open. So once I say open, I will click on next. When I click on next, this is a new set of feature in this is one of the latest feature in Power BI through this process we are going through now. Can you see it? So this is the table. The table has been extracted. So all I just need to do, I won't load it. I will do a drop down and then say transform data. Because ETL is a process. You will extract first. After extracting, you will now transform the data. It is when you finish transforming the data, because you are not too sure if your data is having any data quality issues. Now imagine, can you see? Look at you can see that the interface is looking exactly like that of Microsoft Excel. The interface is looking exactly, no difference, like that of Microsoft Excel. Now, what do I want to do here? Come to look at this date. You see the data type is showing us what? It's showing us test. So let us convert the data type to date. Good. Can you see that? The data, the date column has been transformed into date. So let us see other transformation that we can do here. Is there any other transformation? Oh, no transformation. So meaning that we can go forward. No transformation, no much transformation to do here. So meaning that we can just move forward. So how do we move forward? You come to your close and apply. So the same thing. Any transformation you want to do, just search for it through here. There are row-based transformation and there are column-based transformation. When you carry out a row-based transformation, it will affect row by row. And when you carry out
We have lost our resource person again due to network challenge. You will soon be back, please. Our apologies. Sorry once again about the break in transmission. The resource person will join us very, very soon. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm back. Hope you can see my screen now.
Yes, sir. We can see it.
Oh, great. So sorry for the network glitch. So I'm trying to ensure that my network, don't know what happened to the network, but let us go on. So let's see. We have. So let me take that step again, which is get data from test or CSV, and if we can build maybe one or two visuals, I think that will be fine. So I'll be a little bit fast so that I can cover up for that time. Come on, so let it load. So it's trying to load the data sources. Okay. So let me browse and select. So I've selected the data set. Next. So after next, I'll click on, so let me go to transform data. After transform data, good. So I will now change the data type of the dates, change it to dates, and then move on to close and apply. So what it means, close the report, close the Power Query, and apply this to the model and load the data to the model. So it's loading the data set into the model, about 15,000 rows. Okay, so now if you look at the data set, so this is the data set right here. This is the data set right here. So I will now begin to, so the first thing I will do is to create those. It's for me to create the different data. Is to begin to create the main dashboard. So how do I create the dashboard? The first thing, I will select the amount and the branch, the amount and category. So can you see that? So that is the amount and the category. Let me also let me build some DAX. DAX means data analysis expression. So I want to build a measure for total. I want to build a measure for total total expenses. So total expenses will be sum of amount, close the bracket, and that is the measure. I will build another measure for, I want to build another measure for, so I will come here and say new measure, build another measure for, so I will build about 3 measures. So I think those will be okay for the KPI. So average expenses, average expenses. Average expenses, so our average expenses will be equals to average of amounts. Average of amount. So that is another. Then let me now do the total number, another measure for total number of transactions. Total number of transactions, and that will be counts. Counter. If you are using count will count only numbers. But when you use counter will count, it's an aggregate measure to count the number of values within. If there are values within a column, it will count it for you. So counter, I want to count the ID, transaction ID. And those are the 3 measures. So let me now use these measures as my, let me now use these 3 measures as my, use these 3 measures. I'm using the card visual. Use the 3 measures as my KPIs that I'm tracking. Can you see that? So these are the KPIs that I'm tracking. These are the KPIs that I'm tracking. I'm tracking these KPIs. So let me add another report. Let's see the total. Let's see the transaction by payment method. So let me convert this into a visual. Can you see that? So I've converted this into a visual. So let me add slicer to it. So I want to add slicer. So the first slicer I want to add is the branches. So these are the branches slicer. I can convert this slicer to go to the slicer settings and convert it to a tile. So all I need to do is to click, and I'm good. Then one more slicer. I want to add slicer for, I want to add one more slicer. Can you see that? So we have the months. So the slicer is consuming space. So I will convert the slicer to, I will convert the slicer settings to a drop down so that I can manage the space that I have. Can you see that? So this is the slicer for the month. So if I want to slice through the month for January, this will slice through the entire data set for January, February, March, April, May, June. So now let me format my visuals. So to format my visuals, I will format just one of them. I will on the column label, go to the general properties, change the name to category, scroll down, place it at the center. Text color, I want it to be white, and the background of the color of the convert it to this. If possible, let me use black. Then effects, under effects, I just need the, under effect, I need the visual border so that I can see my visual border easily. Because I'll be able to create one of my reports, I'll be able to format this. I will just use the format painter to format others. Can you see that? My report is coming, my dashboard is coming to life. Format painter, format this. Select my format painter and also format this. Can you see that? Visual, convert it to time, which is good. So let me create one more report. Let me create one more report, which is the trend. I want to create the trend analysis. I want to create the trend analysis. So to create the trend analysis, I'm going to use the date. I'm going to use the date. So I will select one of them, which is the date. I'll select the date and I'll select the amount. Then under the column here that we have the columns, I will do this drop down and change it from date hierarchy to dates. Then use the line charts. Can you see that? I'll create what we call the trend. I can add the trend line. Can you see the trend line? So the trend line is there. So let me use one of these to format this. Can you see? My report is ready to fly. You will see that you will see that in the previous report, the one that I shared with you, you will see that there are other things that are there, which I am unable to do here because of time constraints. Okay, but I will just quickly do one. Let me add the heading. The heading, I will come to insert and then say test. So I will call this expenses management dashboard reports. So I will format this, make it bold, increase the size, and place this at the top. Change the name or change the color and place it at the top. Center align. Move it to the top. Can you see that? So our dashboard is ready to fly. Let me see if I can use within the next 2 minutes to bring in an external, to bring in one more report. Let me reduce this and then bring in the scroller. Bring in the scroller and drag it to the end. What do I want to put in the scroller? I want to add the branches and their amounts. Then use this to format the scroller. So our dashboard is ready. So with this dashboard, you can unlock insights. With this dashboard, you can unlock insight. If I want to know what has happened in Abuja, so let me expand this a little. If I want to see what has happened in Abuja, if I select Abuja here, the dashboard will come to life. Every single of the report within this screen here will be showing for Abuja. If I select Ogba, can you see? Ogba is just one transaction. If I select Ikeja, can you see? This is what happened in Ikeja all through. Port Harcourt, Lekki, Surulere. Can you see? This is amazing. Any question based on turning your raw data from data to insight. Thank you very much. So somebody is asking me to repeat the scroller, also KPI process. KPI process. Now, how do I do the KPI process? What I just did, time will not permit us. What I did for the KPI is to build what we call a measure, is to build measures. Okay? Now, let me quickly build one measure so that you see how I did it. I will come to the table and say new measure. Okay? I will come here and then say new measure. All right? New measure. Under the new measure, what is the name of my measure? The name of this measure is the highest amount. Highest amount. I want to call the name of this measure highest amount. Okay? Now, the highest amount will be max. That is the name of the function. Max. Max of what? Max of amount. And then close the bracket. So I've created this measure. If I now want to add this to my KPI, I will select this and then select the max, the highest. Can you see? The highest has been added. So the highest here is 2 million. Can you see? The highest for Abuja is 50,000. The highest for Port Harcourt is 50. The highest for Lekki is 50. The highest for Abuja, the highest for Ogba is 2 million. Can you see it? So I have added another KPI. Now for the scroller is an additional, visual. Okay? The scroller is an additional visual. It does not come primarily with your visualization, but you must be signed in. Can you see at the top here that I am signed in? You must be signed in before you can use the scroller. How do you sign in? You use your username and password, and Power BI does not allow personal email and password. It does not allow it. What it allows is official email. Okay? If you have an official email, you can use it to sign in. Then you will click on the 3 dots. When you click on the 3 dots, you will say get more visuals. When you say get more visuals, it will open up this for you, and then you search for scroller. Now, when you search for scroller, if you select the scroller, then it will now be, you will now see a particular part that will tell you to add to this, to add it. Once you add it, it will be added. Can you see? It has been added as an additional visual. So you can now use it in your reports. So this brings us to the end of this. Okay, if I want to add another month report to this, how do I go about this? Very simple. The source file is your concern. Any data you add to the source file will be updating on your report. Any data you add to your source file will be updating to your report. How do we link the Power BI report to PowerPoint? You don't need PowerPoint. If you are using Power BI, you don't need PowerPoint. How? Let's say I want to present this report now, and I want to talk about this category report. There is a button here called focus mode. Once I click on the focus mode, you see that the report has come up. I can explain this report, tell them about this report, and then go back again, and then expand this also, and then explain. After explaining, I go back again, and then select the next report, and then blow it open, and then explain. Can you see it? That each of this report, you can blow it open. That is, you can lay focus on it, and then explain. After explaining, you go back to your report. So you don't need You don't need PowerPoint in order to present your Power BI report. Okay, thank you very much.
Are you true, sir?
Yes, I am, sir.
Mr. Osas, thank you very
I
much. I can see a lot of thumb up for you, a lot of thumb up, a lot of thumb up. I think our members here present have enjoyed your presentation. And I equally discovered that during the presentation, you have taken a lot of questions. So I want to advise, if anybody is having any question, let us put it on the chat box now. If you have any other question, let us put it on the chat box. We can assure you that we are going to send the slide for the presentation to all who have attended via your email address. So we are going to send the slides of this presentation to all the attendees via the email address used during the registration. So any other question? Okay, Mr. Asas, I have a question here.
Okay.
Somebody is asking which Excel. Okay, that question had even gone. Let me see.
Okay, which Excel version that you can use to build this kind of report?
Yes.
Okay, from 2016 version from 2016 to date. So we have the 2016, 2019, 2021, all those versions, you can use it, including 365. So those are the versions that you can use. Any version from 2016 to date. But I will advise you that you should start with 2019. It is advisable, 2019. But if you have 2016, you can still do something. Yes.
Thank you, sir. So the attendance link, the link for recording your attendance is on the screen now. Let us make use of it before we end the webinar. So in the absence of any other question from our participants, the class has been highly interactive. Mr. Osas has been able to attend to several questions as he was going about the practical demonstration. So today's session has been highly practical and highly interactive. So let us make sure that we use the attendance link to record our attendance for this webinar. So the Institute has graciously awarded 2 MCP credits for those of us who are online today. So we are going to have 2 MCP credits for this free webinar. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to call on the chairman of the subcommittee on job readiness improvement, our own council member, Dr. Kingsley Ayoze, to give a vote of thanks on behalf of the Employment Facilitation Committee to our resource person. Dr. Ayoze, sir.
Okay, sir. Wow. Please, distinguished colleagues, if your hands are not busy, can we applaud our facilitator for this great job? Well done. Wow. Please, let's make it louder. It's been a wonderful time. How time flies. I can't believe that 2 hours have gone. Once again, on behalf of the president and chairman of council of our great institute, Malam Aruna Mayaya, MNI PhD FCA, the vice president and the president-elect, Hajia Quinsley Sofaratu Segosime, MNI FCA, members of the presidency, my colleagues in council who have also joined, the chairman of the Employment Participation Committee, Mr. Sunday Jude Ebo, MNI FCA, the registrar chief executive, the director of membership affairs, our own Alhaji Shakiru Balogu FCA, the entire staff and secretariat of our great institute who have worked tirelessly to ensure that we deliver on this mandate today. I must not miss out my committee members, the members of the Employment Foundation Committee, who also work tirelessly to ensure that today's webinar becomes a reality. We want to say a big thank you to our facilitator, erudite facilitator for that matter, Mr. Osai, for how far he has been able to take us through the last 2 hours. Today's webinar was so unique in the sense that we actually moved from theory to practice. Not only that, it was highly interactive. During the course of his presentation, he was able to deliver and also respond to the questions. So I want to say a big thank you, sir. We are indeed glad to have you. What we are saying that when next we knock at your door, please oblige us of your presence to also be with us. For our esteemed colleagues, without your presence, I don't think this webinar would have actually become a reality. So we want to thank you all for coming. And more importantly, just as the director has said, please endeavor to register your presence. I've seen a lot of people have been registering via the chat box. That is not adequate. Please follow the link to do your registration so that you can earn that free 2 credit point. On this note, I want to say a big thank you to all who have made this webinar session a huge success. Do have a pleasant day ahead. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Thank you, Dr. Ayose. Technical, can we have the anthems to wrap up the session? Much. Do have a nice day ahead, everyone. Thank you.